Hi beautiful souls, welcome to Beautiful Awakening with Shantia. Welcome to another pick a card reading with me. So today we're looking into your 2026 forecast. I have been waiting to do this pick a card reading. I'm so excited to share with you guys what's coming through for your 2026. This is going to be a thorough reading in terms of us looking at your overall 2026. So we're going to be looking into the big idea. So I created an oracle card design. The only thing I used AI for was to create the border, which sounds funny, and to create the label for the words. But other than that, these are cool images that I collaged together from artists who already pre-designed these images, and I just kind of collaged it together. So I'm happy we didn't use too much AI for this 2026 forecast coming up. So I did a meditation off of the screen. I pulled nakshatra cards as well, and that gave me a hint into what I was sensing for what's to come for your 2026. So we're going to look into the big idea with this oracle card design. What's the big idea for your 2026? What's the theme? One of the big themes showing up for you. Then we're going to do a story time where we're going to try to pull. We'll see what comes through. One card. We're going to pull a tarot card for each quarter of your 2026, looking into some of the themes that want to come through. I got a couple of tarot decks that we're going to be playing around and shuffling using, so that'll be fun. And then we're also going to be looking into some advice or embodiment from source. I'm going to be using 3 different oracle card decks for that, and I'm going to try to pull one card from each deck to get the advice or embodiment that you're being called to step into for 2026. And then finally, we're going to roll the Astro dice. Usually I like to roll the Astro dice just to kind of get that final confirmation and affirmation for the energies that we're picking up. If you haven't already, go ahead and check out on my other channel, Soul Awakening with Shantia. I've uploaded by now, ideally, part 4 of the Monster Inside series. This was a cool series where I really got to dive into the dark psychology of humans, to understand how they think, why they make questionable choices in life. So if you're interested in understanding your own psychology and dark psychology, I would encourage you to check that out. Dark psychology is so important for us to study, for us to understand more about ourselves. Moving into the future, I will be uploading videos for the Moon series. We're going to start with the first video where we talk about symbology. We really dive into this understanding of what is Moon supposed to be representing in your charts. And then I will also be uploading a 2026 astrological transit forecast on my other channel where I talk about the transits. We're going to be doing a deep dive into the themes. I'm so excited to share that. What I love about doing the tarot videos first is I get to kind of pull into the bigger idea and feel the energy before I start getting really detailed about the specifics, the science, the astrological science of what's happening around us energetically. All right, I hope you guys are looking forward to this reading. Let's go ahead and get started with introducing the groups. All right, so this is the forecast for 2026. I was picking up for the overall theme of 2026, this somewhat land-like theme. So some of the main themes coming through is like exploration and sunshine. This is the year of the fire horse. So for you, group number 1, your oracle card is Nest Exit. Group number 2, your oracle card is Wonderland. And group number 3, your oracle card is Soul Do. Let's go ahead and start your meditation. All right, group number 1. If you chose Nest Exit, we're going to go ahead and start with you. Hey, group number 1, welcome to your 2026 forecast. So let's look into the forecast, see what wants to come through. Looking at your oracle card design, so one of the big ideas for your 2026 is a nest exit. So the nest is a symbolic image I've gotten in meditations a lot, and the nest is supposed to represent that sense of safety and security. So in 2026, you're going to be called to come out of your comfort zone. So 2025 offered you the opportunity to really develop your inner sense of safety and security from within. And this is going to be a continuous theme throughout. It's continuing on into 2026. It's just now you're kind of evolving your understanding of safety and security. So typically, the bird is in the nest, and at some point, the baby bird has to leave the nest. And I hear that for some bird species, in order to get that bird out of the nest, is the parent tosses them out and says, okay, it's time for you to go. So this is going to be your opportunity in 2026 for you to explore more and to evolve your understanding of safety and security. You're being given an offering, a challenge, an opportunity for you to expand your sense of safety and security. We have the sword at the top. So the nakshatra card that you guys got for your 2026 was Purva Bhadra Pada. So this is currently where Saturn is right now. And Saturn has been transiting through this nakshatra for quite some time, and it's continuing its transit. Right now, Saturn is doing, I think, at this point, it'll be doing a retrograde, and then, oh no, it's moving direct. That's right, it's moving direct. So it was retrograde for some time, and then it's going to be proceeding forward. I think it's around 1 degrees, maybe close to that. But Purva Bhadrapada, it starts at 20 degrees Aquarius to 3 degrees, 20 minutes Pisces. So Purva Bhadrapada represents the front of a funeral cot. So it represents a sort of ending. The primary rulership for this nakshatra is Jupiter. And of course, because of that Aquarius energy, Saturn is falling. So there is a restructuring that's happening around your belief system, an expansion. Perhaps also your sense of responsibility, and also I'm hearing obligations, is changing, it's shifting. So your priorities are changing. And this year is going to be an opportunity for you to really understand, what are your priorities? You know, when I think about the nest, that's when we're getting the programming for our parents' priorities, what their programming was. And they're teaching you to prioritize those same things because they're teaching you what they know. But then this is your opportunity to decide, do I want to continue with this programming, or do I want something different? From this oracle card design and inspiration, I'm getting the vibe that you're wanting something different for yourself. I was getting a bit of a jungle theme, a bit of a Tarzan theme. I was seeing a gorilla climb up a tree. And I was wondering, okay, what does the gorilla represent? When I looked it up, they said it represented leadership, authority, and care. And that made a lot of sense because usually we see gorillas or monkeys move around in tribes. And they seem to have some very beautiful, nurturing qualities. But there's also strength and intensity as well. So I think this year, with the sword at the top of the oracle card, you're going to be learning about what is your strength, right? What are you really strong at? Because perhaps you have been nesting for some time, but in 2026, you're going to get the opportunity to understand what strengths you developed in that nesting period that as you move beyond the nest, still exists. It still stays with you. And one thing I like to talk about on this channel a lot is if it sticks with you, then that means that it's real, right? It's sustainable. The things that fall away are illusions, but something that we develop, our character, that's something we keep with us. And it helps to carry on into each lifetime. So this year is also going to be your commitment to your truth. Commitment to your truth. Are you ready to commit to your truth? Because Purva Bhadrapada with that Jupiter-Saturn influence is very intense when it comes to belief systems. Are you willing to commit to your truth? Or are you going to compromise? Right? So this is going to challenge that for you. It's going to challenge you to get out of your comfort zone. You are being guided through this journey, so do not worry. Source is really calling for you to step into more leadership with yourself, leading yourself, owning your inner empowerment. This is also going to be a year of unity for you uniting within yourself, coming together within yourself. And as you're experiencing this unification, it will be mirrored back to you through experiences and the people that you interact with. The shadow side that I was picking up for this energy is something about repressed anger. So, when we think about gorillas, sometimes, they're pumping on their chest. They can get really intense, right? There is going to be some repressed anger that you're going to be processing. That's not a shocker, considering it's the year of the fire horse. I imagine that things are going to be heating up this year, but this is going to be a year for you to understand that shadow work, how to process that repressed anger. This is going to be the year for you to embrace your own natural power, to be confident, to embrace harmony, and to understand that you can maintain strength through presence, patience, and peace. Okay, so that is the major energies that I'm picking up. Welcome the dissolution that wants to come through. The sword is there to cut through the BS. The sword is there to cut through illusions. So welcome the cutting through of illusions. Let's go ahead and pull some more oracle cards. Also, the play on the word nest exit. So 2026 is going to be about you getting your next exit, as in next steps. What's your next exit? So I feel like when I hear next exit, that kind of makes me think of a car and driving and how they're like, oh, get off the next exit here, which means you're close to exiting out of something. Maybe there's some cycles that you're closing. And so the next exit makes me think of, okay, you're getting close to really exiting out of certain cycles in your life that no longer serve you. But it also makes me think of, actually, yes, that's the main theme I'm kind of picking up. With the blue flowers, there's something emotional coming through here, something about processing emotions. Even with this nest and the eggs, I get a sense of sensitivity here. I feel like you're developing this within yourself, like a really beautiful sense of safety and security within yourself. You're learning how to become secure personally. You know how sometimes some things make us feel insecure, maybe when we're comparing ourselves to other people? Well, this is going to be the year for you to not feel that. I'm getting a sense of someone being hugged by a parent, being cared for, being looked after. And I feel like this is something you are tuning more into in this year. Perhaps there's also a reference to hatching of an egg, right? Because the bird's obviously flying or breaking free. So this is going to be somewhat of a rebirth for you this year. And I like how we have the gorilla on the egg. I was trying to figure out where to put him. I didn't know where to put him where it looked weird and distracting, where you couldn't see him. So I just put him front and center in the image. And he looks like he's ready to go. He's grown. No longer a baby. The jungle reference also, and like the Tarzan reference. So Tarzan was raised by the gorillas, the monkeys. I mean, I'm trying to think of the Disney version. I think he was raised by gorillas. And he had to learn how to adapt to the natural habitat, but he learned how to embrace that experience. Even though he lost his parents, he was raised by the company. He was adopted, essentially, and he learned how to embrace his family as his own. So there might be something about this idea of creating home for yourself, no matter where you're at. The jungle reference is sometimes, jungles are very lush, and part of what makes a jungle beautiful is like that tropical environment and weather, where there's like the perfect amount of sunshine, rain, moisture in the air, and it makes for lots of greenery. So definitely look forward to this year being a year of creation for you. A lot of greenery, a lot of plants, a lot of experimenting with things, trying out different things, crafting things, and experiences is coming through. Okay, so we're going to pull a card for each quarter of your 2026. So let's look for quarter one here. Okay, that was crazy. Oh, we got one. Adventure. I love that for you guys. And I'm going to go back and forth with the shuffling with my other deck just because of, you know, different images. Group part 2. Let's look into this. Okay, this one wanted to come out. We got Knight of Cups. And we got part 3. And nice. Exactly one card. We have the World card. Whoa. Nice. Completion. Yes, we were talking about that the nest exit. And the World card also makes me think of a nest because we got that round circle oval. And part 4. Oh, we got exactly one. And we have a 5 of Wands. Came out reversed. A resolution of some sort is what I'm picking up. Okay. So looking at your part 1, so this is adventure. It looks like immediately as soon as 2026 starts, you're being called to step into adventure, embrace the new, to try something different, to approach something different here. And I'm hearing options because I'm getting like, you know how they have the spin the wheel and they hit the pin on the spinny wheel thing and it picks, it kind of feels like randomized. So I feel like, yes, you have options, but at the same time, I think Source just wants you to be open for the adventure. Don't be so fixed and rigid here. Just be really open to creative energy flowing through and seeing however that wants to process. So that's what's going to be your part 1. You know, maybe we're coming out of delays here, but just trust in the timing. Don't rush anything. So part 2 of your 2026, we got Knight of Cups. So this is this energy of being really cared for, being fulfilled, and being taken care of. So I feel like in your part 2, this is going to be an important lesson to embody, but also I'm seeing these cups as people. I'm seeing it as community. So you're going to have lots of support for your ventures, for your ideas, for whatever kind of life it is that you want to create. You're going to be feeling more of that support, seeing that. It's going to be important to acknowledge that because sometimes we want something to look a certain way and we're not understanding that everything's panning out the way it needs to. So Source is definitely telling you to just kind of embrace how things want to come through and let it be a natural flowing experience for you. You know, do not force it. For your part 3 of 2026, you're going to be feeling more of a sense of completion and wholeness. During this time, there might be an ending. It feels more like a celebrational ending versus like a painful one. So I think there's a celebrational ending coming. The World card always gives me this energy of makeover, like, oh, like totally changing. So I feel like in your third part of 2026, you're going to be feeling a lot more resolute about your decisions, your choices. You know, we have this ox and we have the lion here chilling, and both of them are giving me this energy of seniority and calmness where they're just like chill. So I feel like part 3, you're going to feel committed to this journey, to your choices, and to the person you're becoming, which is really beautiful. And then again, you got lots of support around you, guides and whatnot. You're going to be feeling that. In your part 4 of 2026, we can pull a clarifier for this. Let me just go ahead and channel. I'm not actually picking up conflicts, which is interesting, because I don't know, for some reason that kid looks like he's cheering, like, hoo hoo, hooray! That's what I'm picking up, which is interesting. So yeah, I guess in your part 4 of 2026, there's going to be like a celebration here. A camaraderie is what I'm picking up, but I'll go ahead and pull a clarifier for you guys because, you know, 5 of Wands is usually a conflict, but there could be a resolution to some sort of conflict, or there could be like a final battle ensuing in your part 4 of 2026. Let's go ahead and clarify this 5 of Wands here for you. Okay. We have here Knight of Pentacles, self-discipline. Knight of Pentacles, self-discipline. Okay. So, okay. yeah, there might be, so with this part 3, there might be a really nice reset coming in. And then maybe when it comes to sort of the practical creation of what it is that you're wanting to make, you're going to be challenged when it comes to your discipline, because there might be some obstacles that are showing up. And you know what? It's kind of like patience. It's the year of the fire horse. Okay. So definitely watch for that. You know, we have Jupiter going into Leo towards the end of the year. We might have some other challenging energies as well, and fire signs. So there might be some impatience showing up for you towards the end of 2026, where you're like, okay, I really wanted this to be a certain way, or to, you know, I had an idea of what I was going towards, but I'm getting the bigger idea for this year of 2026 is more of you understanding the concepts. So, you know, whether that fructifies and it materializes, that's not really the goal for this year. Maybe towards the end of the year you'll be seeing that, but it looks like this might be something that continues on into 2027. You'll maybe start to see more of the fruits of your labor that you're wanting to see. This year is going to be, 2026 is going to be more dedicated to your emotional well-being, a strong sense of security with who you are and your goals and what you want. But as far as, you know, whatever kind of life it is that you're wanting to create for yourself, that might be challenged. And towards the end of the year, you might be thinking, okay, well, I was hoping it was going to come together by this time. And they're telling you to be patient, okay, with the process. Like, this is a huge lesson coming through for your end of 2026. Be patient, but use this year to have fun, to learn about who you are. Sort of saying this is not the time to root yourself. They want you to venture out. They want you to explore your inner landscape, not get caught up in the details about what it's supposed to look like, because this isn't the time. And there's a reason why. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some... Are we on to the advice part? Yeah, let's go ahead and get some advice for the embodiment, because that's going to help us to understand like what's going to work best for you. So I got this cool oracle card deck here. This I got, it's a used deck and it's retro. So it says Goddess Knowledge Cards. So I think the woman who painted this, either she had cancer, I think she had cancer, and that inspired her to later paint this or do this deck and follow her heart and dive further into spirituality. So it says paintings by Susan Sedon Bolet, text by Michael Babcock. So I really like this because when I looked at this, I was like, these look like paintings, and they were. This is like real art by the artist. So I really love that. And just coincidentally, I happen to kind of create these oracle card designs that sort of are reminiscent of paintings as well. But I am a painter. For those of you guys who know, I used to be a painter. I actually haven't had any desire to paint. I like creating videos, and I like, you know, creating oracle card designs and doing graphic design stuff, which is ironic because I did not like graphic design. Well, I liked the couple of classes where we had total freedom, but when it became like serious in college, I was losing interest, and so I went back to painting, and I had a lot of fun with that. So I graduated with my BFA in painting. Okay. So let's go ahead and pull a card for you guys. First, I stopped here, so we're just going to take this one right here off the top. This is going to be your first embodiment card. And then let's just pull. We'll do 1, 2, 3. Oh my god. Okay, that wanted to flip out. And it looks like you have a lot of different energies showing up for you because we had all of these fly out as well. And we got some passionate energies coming through as well. And look, so there's a reference to the village. So that's about like exiting. I'm not going to read all of these. We got the crone. So that's about maturity. We got the healer. So a beautiful amount of healing. Orphan, learning how to get comfortable with doing it on your own. We have the destroyer. That's about endings. The nectar. It's about finding that fulfillment. That's the very Nine of Cups. Okay. But we're just going to do a few. Can't do them all today. All right, let's go ahead and get an embodiment card for you, group number 1 from this archetypes deck. Nice, goddess. Look at that. Just flew out perfectly. Okay, so considering you got a goddess from the Goddess Oracle deck, let's go ahead and start with what is your goddess energy you're being called to embody for this year. So we have Flora. Flora. flourishing one, was the Roman goddess of flowers, gardens, and spring. That matches perfectly with your oracle card design. Very kind of like spring-like, that green lushness. She is the embodiment of all nature. Her name has come to represent all plant life. She is especially a goddess of flowers, including the flower of youth. Her festival of unrestrained pleasure, the Floralia, was celebrated at the end of April and the beginning of May. So in that second quarter of your year with the Knight of Cups, that's definitely giving me that energy here. This festival was probably the origin of the maypole dance and the gathering of bouquets of flowers, symbolizing the bringing of spring and new life into the world. She gives charm to youth, aroma to wine, sweetness to honey, like the nectar, and fragrance to blossoms. Flora teaches us to honor growing things both inside and outside us. She's a reminder to pay attention to pleasure, to the beauty of spring, and to new life wherever it is found. Okay, that is so beautiful. There's Flora for you. I'm loving the warm tones, and I'm seeing a bird in her. That's really cool. So I think this floral is supposed to be reminiscent of the florals around her, and it's sort of blended into her hair. But it reminds me of like that golden, kind of like that nectar, like that golden energy emanating from like sunlight or from a flower. So that's going to be you. You're going to be emanating this beautiful warmth, and we got this like flame coming. So passion, follow your passion, follow your flame. And the flame is not just passion, it's also truth. Follow your flame of truth. What you feel called to embark on, the journey you feel called to embark on. Light it up. Light it up. Light up your adventure. This is going to be the year where you're really seeing your flame brighten up. It looks so beautiful. So with this Goddess Oracle card deck we have here, the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. So that's right in alignment with Flora here. Shadow attribute, exploitation of the female nature and form. So this is going to be a beautiful year for you to embrace your natural sensuality, your feminine energy, your goddess-like energy, which is magnetic. It is honoring nature. It is honoring life. It is honoring life's natural cycles. And this is going to be a really beautiful, receptive year for you. So with that Nine of Cups energy, I was definitely picking up. Be open to receiving. This is not necessarily the year to be the one who's like, I need to try to make this happen. I think there's a bit of that energy showing up at the end of the year. Even 3 of Wands with the adventure energy is about the ships coming in. So that energy is also about receptivity. And we are receptive beings. All of us are. It doesn't matter what gender you are. But this is going to be a really important year to understand that inner flame. Let that inner flame burn and allow yourself to be receptive and receive support. Don't try to make and create everything on your own. That is not this year. I don't know if that's any year, honestly, considering what I've been learning in these energies. And we also have here 6 of Wands here. So definitely be confident in yourself, believe in yourself. That's going to be important. All right, let's get some confirmation, affirmation from your final Astro Dice row here. Okay, we got Uranus in Virgo in the 12th house. Yeah, that's very nice receptive energy. 12th house is the ether. Virgo is very feminine sign. And we have Uranus, which is about like that radical change and shifts. So it looks like you're going through some really beautiful conscious evolution. You're going through an evolution. You're evolving. Your soul journey is very important here in this year of 2026 as far as you developing and growing and going through a purification process. This is what's important. And in fact, that's what flames or fire does. Fire is a purification energy. And we have to allow that fire to help purify us so that our mind is clean and clear. And I think this year's 2026 is going to be important for you to continue with that clearing work. But this feels a lot lighter, honestly, what I was picking up for 2025 felt a lot more psychologically heavy. This energy feels actually very warm, very receptive, very like you get to indulge a little bit in that like pleasure and to just kind of relax, because I think 2025 prepped a lot of people for more of what's to come in with the upcoming years. And if for those who have been doing the evolution work, this is going to come a lot easier. For those who are avoiding the work, it's going to come a lot harder, right? So that's why I do this work, why I'm so passionate about this on my channel, because I want people to embrace the flow of nature, not fight it, to understand that source is supporting you all the time. And that's why I kind of limited the channels I was watching where people are like, oh, this is going to be a bad month, or I don't know. I couldn't listen to people who talk like that, because from what I've learned as I've dove into the knowledge, that's just not true. There's no such thing as a bad day or a bad month. It really is up to you to perceive it in an honest way. When you perceive life in an honest way, it actually is very generous, very beautiful, very giving. And so there's no shortage of support. But you also might be growing in your intellect. You know, Uranus in Virgo. Virgo is a Mercurian sign. So it's like your intellect when it comes to life, when it comes to the nature of life, the flow of life, to energy. So your intellect is growing when it comes to understanding energy. And this is going to help you to flow with nature so much more. So yeah, embrace the terrain, embrace this adventure you get to go on, group number 1. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like, subscribe to support, comment down below to also support the channel. I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hey, group number 2, welcome to your reading. So you guys chose Wonderland for your oracle card design. Yeah, I thought that name was really cool because it's actually giving Ace of Wands energy. When I'm designing things, I'm just intuitive with what I choose. So I didn't know what I was just like, I don't know. It needed something in the middle, and I wanted a wand. Yeah, I remember like I wanted like a wand, and then I found a wand. But yes, it kind of reminds us of the Ace of Wands. So I think this 2026 is going to be feeling like a beginning of an adventure for you, right? Birth of something new is showing up. So the Nakshatra card that inspired this oracle card design, this is like a layer of 4 images, not including like the border in the background, but it's like 4 layered image over each other, and then we have the wand on top. That's what created this image. But you guys got the nakshatra Pura Falguni. So Pura Falguni is in 13 degrees 20 minutes Leo to 26 degrees 40 minutes Leo, and this is the energy of Venus and Sun. It's a very powerful fiery energy for you. I think this is definitely that energy of that fire horse. What's cool about Pura Falguni is it is very creative. So creative. That's why a lot of celebrities have this placement, because they're insanely creative. They love to create for days, inspiration for days, especially if they have their sun there, sun in its own zodiac sign. And then you got Venus influence there. That's why they end up pursuing these lives of pleasure and then beauty. So this is going to be the year for you to enjoy beauty and pleasure, combination of both. I'm sensing that this year is going to give you a sense of creative direction. So we're seeing this landscape here, and we're seeing a wand, but it also looks like an arrow, like it's pointing in the direction of where you're being called to go, or it reminds you of the pin on the compass, where it's like showing you what direction to go in. So this is going to be giving you a stronger sense for your creative direction. Oh, what do I really want to create in this world? Or where am I really being called to go? Because maybe 2025 was more about you just kind of centering in yourself and just kind of experimenting and figuring out what it is that you wanted. But now 2026 is giving you the opportunity to really understand where you're being called to go creatively. So I was also getting in my vision mountain and terrain. So I feel like this is about adventure. This is about exploration, getting out, going out. I was getting geographical mapping, navigating new territory and expansion, pioneering, very energetic energy, covering more ground. So maybe 2025, you're able to learn some things about yourself. Well, get ready for 2026 because you're going to be doing a lot more exploring within and outside, inside and outside. It's going to be both, where you're going to have more courage to try out maybe bigger things, to step into bigger platforms. And you're going to have that courage to want to reach out to people or to just share yourself or share your, I'm hearing your journey, your experiences, your ideas. All of that's going to be coming out in 2026. So yeah, compared to 2025, you're going to be covering a lot more ground in terms of really understanding things that you're interested in, things that you want to create, things that you want to be a part of. So get ready for the venture. I was also getting this this phrase, vibrational landscape. So that's kind of why I got this image here with all the different colors. Vibrational landscape. You're going to be learning how your energy flows. How does your energy flow? And not only how it flows freely, which is the best kind of flow. How does your energy flow freely? The shadow side of this is you're going to be understanding where is your energy fragmented. So, you know, when you're exploring the land, sometimes there's cracks, divots, right? And you're understanding there are parts that are kind of missing here that are fragmented. And you're going to learn how to repair those parts that are fragmented. So there's going to be some repairing happening in this year as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take a sip of this water because my stomach is growling. I got ginger water. I haven't eaten yet. I wanted to shoot this first. This is more important. This year, you're going to be learning how are you most aligned? What helps you to align? And what is your peak point? What is your peak point? You're going to be learning like what really gets you in that zone. The energetic zone of like joy, fulfillment, like that special place, that perfect place. I'm trying to find the word. But the peak point where you're just like, yes, this is the zing I'm looking for. Okay. So on the other side, when we flip this card, we have here 7 of Swords. So 7 of Swords can be about sifting through illusions or delusions. Right? That's usually the card where you're seeing like a thief taking something. He's like taking something and he's getting away with it. But really, 7 of Swords is about deception. So this year, you're going to understand more of what is deceptive to you. What's deceptive? What doesn't work for you? And then that's going to help you to align with what does. Okay. So let's go ahead and pull some cards for your part 1 through 4 of 2026. And I got 2 tarot decks that we're going to be pulling from. Okay. So the first thing we have is 8 of Swords. 8 of Swords. Part 1. Okay, let's look at part 2. Oh, we got 2. Okay. We got 4 of Wands with the Ace of Pentacles. Let's look at part 3. We have here Queen of Pentacles. And for your part 4, we have here the Sun card. Wow, well, you know, that's a flip from the starting with the 8 of Swords, huh? Okay, cool. So definitely a strong theme running throughout your entire year of 2026 is going to be creativity. You know, we got Ace of Pentacles, right? We were talking about the birth of something new. We have the Wonderland Ace of Wands. We have the Sun card, you know, high vibrational energy, frequency. We're feeling we have the Queen of Pentacles, who is the resourceful one. And we have a 4 of Wands, which is very much a joyous-like card. It's about this energy of community and connection. Okay. So for your first part of I was going to say 8 of Swords. Your first part of 8 of Swords. For your first part of 2026, there's going to be some sort of restriction or boundary you're crossing or learning how to get past. I'm seeing someone walking towards the edge and they're just like, okay, can I do it? Can I get past it? And yeah, you can. there's like a fear, there's some sort of fear showing up. So Eight of Swords is usually this energy of being trapped, right? Where you're stuck in a certain situation. And it looks like by the time your second part of 2026 comes in, you're kind of past that. But the first part of your 2026, perhaps you're feeling a bit bounded by certain restrictions. These are mental, these are psychological, they're not real. So psychologically, there's some restrictions showing up where you're thinking to yourself, how is this going to work? How is this going to work? And you're getting in your head a lot. And that's going to happen. Maybe because you're being challenged with a new opportunity or whatever. Maybe you're seeing the land before you and you're like, okay, there's lots of opportunity, but I'm not really sure where to start or how to go about doing this. And when we get advice cards, that's going to give you more clarity on how you can work through this energy. So don't worry about this Eight of Swords showing up. It looks like you obviously moved past it with your other 3 parts of your 2026. But the first part is, I'm encouraging you, perhaps do some journaling, right? Do some journaling, do some self-reflection, go for a walk, and just kind of think about what are those limitations that have kept you from really creating the life that you've always wanted to create for yourself. Because that first part of 2026 is going to be important for you to self-reflect and just think about, okay, what are the things that have stopped me? Just so you can get past it once and for all, right? Get past it once and for all. So this is going to be a really great opportunity for you to self-reflect and think about what imaginary boundaries have deceived you from making you think that you couldn't do it, that you couldn't create it. And so for the first part of 2026, this is an opportunity to finally get over it, let it go, make peace with it, and move past that boundary. For your part 2 of 2026, so we got Four of Wands, Ace of Pentacles. So there's a birth of an opportunity for you. It looks like it could be like moving. There could be a combination of things, but it looks like blessings are definitely flowing in and you're feeling quite blessed in your part 2 of 2026. You're seeing doors open. You're seeing opportunities open up for you. And it's feeling clear as day as far as what you're feeling called to create. Now, Ace of Pentacles isn't about like making lots of money and, oh, like finally I get the job I want to do. Honestly, we're not here for jobs. We're not here for jobs. What we're here to do is we're here to follow our passion. We're here to do the thing that we're called to create. And kids know how to do this. This is before all of that limiting programming starts to seep into their subconscious. Before that happens and they're downloaded with the programming of the world, the Matrix program, they think they can do anything. And so by the part 2 of your 2026, you're feeling like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to create the thing that I really feel called to create, regardless of what anyone has to say about it. Here. So we're letting go of this fragmentation here in part 1. Part 2, we're like, okay, I've let go of that fragmentation. I'm finally ready to create. Doesn't mean you won't be creating in part 1. It just means that perhaps you'll be creating, but you'll still be feeling maybe some insecurities, some uncertainty, some self-doubt about how to approach it, about whether you're capable of doing it. And then by part 2, you're like, okay, let's create it. Let's create it. Let's make it. Let's manifest it. Here. So I'm seeing a strong manifestation energy showing up for you. You're going to be seeing things come together. You're going to be seeing the tools. Like I'm seeing someone just like walk in and they just know what to use, what to pull off the shelves to create the thing that they want to create. There's no hesitancy here. So by part 3 of 2026, because you are confidently creating the very thing that you were meant to create, you're going to be feeling like this is something you're embodying more fully. So you're going to be, this feels like a natural integration, with that Queen of Pentacles. So we got stability showing up here on this card. The reverse here is instability. That makes perfect sense. So by the third part of your 2026, you're going to be feeling a lot more stable. You're going to be feeling like a stable force. You're going to be feeling capable. This is mom energy here, where she's just like, I got this. She's a queen. She's like, I got this. I know how to take care of my family, take care of myself. We're going to do this. This is going to work. Here. And it's really interesting the way that she's holding the pentacle up. It almost looks like she's holding it up to give to someone. So it's like you're going to be the giver, whereas people have offered you opportunities. Part 3, you're going to be feeling like more of the giver. You're going to be feeling like you want to share a lot of your gifts, your resources with people. And so this is going to be super magnetic peak energy for you. We're talking about that peak. It looks like you're definitely finding it here in part 3 of your 2026. By the time that part 4 of your 2026 comes along, joy is going to be the theme of your life. Joy, authenticity, very much reminiscent of that Pura Falguni. You're learning how to be more authentically yourself because you found the delight, you found the joy in just being yourself, creating the things that you feel called to create versus, being insecure about how other people are going to perceive it. By the end of the 2026, you're not going to care. You're going to be happy on your high horse. We got the horse here in the Oracle card design thumbnail, and we have the horse here. So you're going to be riding on your horse, feeling like a free divine child. Beautiful. Okay, let's go ahead and pull some embodiment cards to see what are you being called to embody for 2026. Okay, we have here Haina. So these are paintings by an actual artist. She had gotten cancer, and after she gotten cancer, she was inspired to do these paintings. She had done more deeper spiritual work with herself. So her name is Suzanne Sedan Bolette. So this is a used Oracle card deck that I bought at a fair. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. I know art when I see it. So when I saw these, I was like, those are real paintings by real artists. I got my bachelor's of fine art in painting. So yes, I love real art. Okay, look at that. So look at the greens and the blues that we're witnessing here. We're seeing a moon, very receptive energy, very beautiful, very flowy. I love this. And it looks like the gaze of this goddess here, it looks like she's gazing out and just witnessing life. And as she's witnessing life, she's a part of it. I'm seeing dolphins here, so maybe you have a connection to dolphins. Dolphins, because they're connected to the water, there's something about intellect and receptivity showing up again. So this could be Hina or Haina. Oh, Haina, because it's Polynesian. Haina is said by some to be the greatest of Polynesian goddesses. In certain tellings, she's the original creator of the world, the goddess and gods and human beings. One story tells of her love affair with an eel who is killed. She buries his head, and several days later, the first coconut tree springs forth from the grave. Haina is perhaps best known as the woman who lives in the moon. There she creates beautiful tapa cloth from the bark of the mulberry tree, which we see as clouds surrounding the moon. Haina represents the part of ourselves that creatively brings forth nourishment, even in the midst of what appears to be death and decay. So there's like endings we're witnessing here, and that's going to be a continuous theme as Saturn is transiting through Pisces for some time. But even in the midst of endings, this creative spark, creative energy is just flowing so beautifully. So Haina here is representing that creative energy for you. She created the human beings. She created the gods and the goddesses. So she's the creator of all things. She lives on the moon. So there's this receptive energy coming through. So your creativity is going to be very intuitive this year. Very intuitive, very instinctual, just having a strong sense for just knowing what you're feeling called to be a part of. She creates beautiful tapa cloth from the bark of the mulberry tree, which we see as clouds surrounding the moon. So this is someone who is just easily being inspired by the natural world, their environment, what's around them, and they're just kind of creating. They're grabbing from all of these little bits and pieces of life, and they're creating from it. That's what I'm seeing happening for you in year 2026. So it's a part of ourselves that creatively brings forth nourishment, even in the midst of what appears to be death and decay. Okay. Let's go ahead and pull your next embodiment card. 1, 2, 3. We got one. Oh, look at that. Destroyer. Nice. The Destroyer. Yeah. So we all have that energy of destruction within us in the world, in life. This is something you may be witnessing, collectively it's showing up. There are endings that are happening. But what it's destroying the false illusions. It's not destroying anything that you need. Here you go with the 7 of Swords, right? This is about cutting away at the BS. So the false illusions are being destroyed. Nothing that you're needing. Nothing that you're needing. And what happens after destruction is creation. So, and honestly, it happens simultaneously if you think about actual timelines and how life works. Even in the midst of destruction, creation is happening at the same time, simultaneously. So this is making me think of mitosis, or cells multiplying or splitting here under the microscope. And then we have these intense like wolf eyes here. So it makes me think of focus or learning how to hunt or be in the dark. We have this almost like star-like energy that's like the North Star. So yeah, as things are ending and closing out, just stay focused on the light inside of you. And also just stay focused on the things that you're wanting to create as well. Let's go ahead and pull another embodiment card for you for 2026. We have here Child Orphan. Light attributes: independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering the fear of surviving. Shadow attributes: feeling of abandonment that stifle maturation, seeking inappropriate surrogate families. So this is also taking me back to that 8 of Swords. I think that's probably the biggest fear, is doing things alone. The reason why we fear doing things is because we think societally it's not going to be accepted, or it just won't blend in with the world. And just the way that the matrix system works is confusing, because it's all about pleasing society. It's not about pleasing ourselves. So it might feel unnatural to do the thing that you selfishly feel called to do, that feels right and instinctual and intuitive in your heart. You just absolutely know this is the right thing for you to do. But society might have taught you, no, that's selfish. You can't do that. You can't just do what you want or create what you want. That's selfish. To follow the path of your soul is to be so aligned. This is a rite of passage you have to pass, is learning how to just go it alone without this feeling of abandonment. That thing that people talk about when they're talking about their childhood trauma, at some point we got to get over that. Like, we have to like move through and heal that stuff, because how are you going to embark on your soul's journey if you're stuck in feeling like an orphan, feeling abandoned, or like a victim in life? You can't get past that. So I think that part 1 is just getting over the fear of like really embarking on that journey alone, letting go of this idea that people have to accept what you're doing. They have to understand it, or you have to explain it to them. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Just do it. Be honest. And sometimes you got to be brief, because people will be looking at you like you're crazy, and they're just like, what the heck are you talking about? And you just do you. Okay. Group number 2, just do you. All right. So those are your embodiment cards for 2026. I'm going to go ahead and roll, I guess we can leave these here, the Astro Dice to close out your reading, to get some confirmation and affirmation. We have here Saturn in Sagittarius in the 11th house. Okay. So the confirmation is you're definitely embarking on a journey. The 11th house is an more expansive house, because it's about connecting to a broader network. So Saturn in its own house, this is about getting comfortable with connecting to that divine network, understanding that it requires discipline and focus on your part to participate in. We got those intense wolf eyes. The Sagittarius sign always looks like an arrow. So this is an arrow pointing you in the direction of where you're being called to go. So I think this year is mainly, the main theme that's coming through for you, group number 2, is just to really focus on your passion, to keep your compass, your inner compass focused. Do not lose sight of that. No matter what's happening around the world, with other people, with other people's opinions about what you're doing, just stay focused on the dream. Stay focused on the journey. You know, Sagittarius is this energy of growing into higher knowledge. So if we make higher knowledge the priority, we can't go wrong because we're always in an continuous expansive phase where we're just continuously expanding, and our minds just can't be kept small. So if you want to continuously expand, you're going to have to get comfortable with going it alone, to understanding that energetically you're evolving a little quicker, faster, whatever, more in a different states of consciousness than other people, yet you are still here to exist around them, but you don't have to pull them up where you're at, because that's just going to be very frustrating. So that might be a bit of a lesson that you're having to learn. Just go it alone, embrace this journey of higher knowledge, because it's going to put you on your most authentic pathway. All right, I hope you enjoyed that group number 2. Like, subscribe, comment down below to support the channel. I would really appreciate it. And I will see you guys next time for another reading. Bye. Hey, group number 3, welcome to your reading. So it looks like you guys chose Soul Dough, and I'm sure you're wondering, what the heck does that mean? Don't worry, I got lots of awesome notes here that I'm going to be sharing with you. Okay, so looking at your oracle card design, let's go ahead and talk about this first. This is the big idea, the theme that's coming through for your 2026. So you're going to be making some dough. Yeah, so dough is like the preparation. You're making bread, essentially. You're cooking, you're baking. And prior to us baking, we got to like prep the ingredients. So you're gathering all the ingredients together to make this lovely dough. You know, in this oracle card design, I was trying to find someone making dough. I found this illustration, and then I put yellow with it, and I was like, that kind of looks like a yolk. And then I was like, I got this idea of like, maybe I'll just put all the ingredients in. I couldn't do it, so I went more abstract with it. But you crack the egg open, the yolk comes out, you're getting the yolk, and you're putting all the ingredients to make this delicious recipe. But when we think about an egg, right, the egg is sort of the birth of something new. And you crack it open. So it looks like there's been something that you've been cultivating, or it's been incubating, and now the egg's ready to crack open for you to use those ingredients. So whatever ingredients you've been gathering in or you've been building or growing in 2025, in 2026, you're going to get the opportunity to finally pull all of these ingredients together to create the very thing that you've been feeling called to create. And right now you're in a disciplinarian process because you're learning how to knead the dough. Right? And you got to be patient with this so that dough is just right for the bread, right? I think there's like a science, there's a passion, there's an instinct needed to make that dough and make it just right here. So you got to be patient with the process. This is what your 2026 is going to be like. Maybe in the end of 2026, or maybe within it, or 2027, you'll finally bake that bread. But right now you have to learn how to get the ingredients together, is what I'm hearing. So the nakshatra that inspired your soul dough is Rohini nakshatra. Rohini nakshatra is in 10 degrees Taurus to 23 degrees 20 minutes Taurus. So this is the energy of moon. So it's ruled by moon, and then we have a bit of that Venusian influence with it being in a Taurus sign. So moon Venus. This is going to be a very receptive year for you as far as you using your intuition. They want you to use your intuition to proceed forward, to move forward with your creative ideas, pursuits, and passion. Rohini is this energy of the growing one, the ox cart, the bounties of earth, materialism. So when I get into the astrological transits, I think we might be having something transiting through Rohini, maybe Uranus, perhaps, but this is going to be a really good year for you to start with that initial creative process. Taurus energy is an initial creative process where you like start making something. A lot of Rohini natives are very passionate about building, creating, and sometimes it's so obsessively so they don't even know why they're doing it. They're just making it. But I have a feeling that you're being called to be a lot more intentional when it comes to whatever it is that you're being called to create this year. It's going to require your passion, and there's going to be so much creativity that goes into this. So when I paint, or when I would paint, actually when I create anything, when I create videos or oracle cards as well, it's so instinctual. I don't even think about it. I'm just looking for this energy of it's right, or that's it. That's kind of what I'm looking for when I'm designing something. I just go with my instincts. I'm like, oh, I like the way this looks. I like the way this feels. So this year, one of your affirmations is, how does this, or confirmation perhaps, phrases is, how does this make me feel? You're going to be asking yourself that a lot. What am I sensing? Like, and it's not necessarily emotional feel. It's more of just a sense of like, intuitively, this feels like it. Intuitively, like I just have a feeling this is it. So your intuition is going to be very intense peak this year in terms of helping you to guide you towards what feels right. And be experimental, be willing to make mistakes. Don't feel like you have to get anything perfect. You're in a learning process is what I'm hearing from sources. You are in a learning process. This is not about perfection. It's about progress and about, just getting a little bit better each time. That's what I'm hearing. So righteous materialization, spreading dough. And when I was seeing the visual of someone spreading dough, I was getting this bouncy like energy, bouncy. So you want that dough to have the right amount of bounce. And sometimes bounce also means like a little bit of resistance, like you press in and it presses back and you're like, So just be ready for that reverberation or whatever is coming back to you, that feedback you're getting when you're creating things. That's going to teach you a lot about how to nourish it better, approach it differently, approach it better. So symbols connected to creation, nurturing, materialism, and patience. Okay, that's probably Rohini energy. Take new inspiration or energy and work with it until it becomes tangible. Yeah, take the energy and then see how you can make something with it. What can I make with this? I got an idea. What can I create with this? This is the year for your vision to come to form. So if you've had a vision for something you've been wanting to do, this is the year where that vision is going to be coming alive. You are learning how to shape, literally and metaphorically, shape your creative potential. There's going to be beautiful sacred energy coming through. Sacred energy creating abundance through and with patience. What is my note saying here? So strong, sacred, feminine energy, definitely with that moon Venus. Yes, that's very feminine energy coming through. We have this root chakra also showing up. So there's something about, a healing energy around your root chakra. If there's some sort of fragmentation around your root chakra, I think you're going to be doing a lot of healing work with it. It's going to be amazing for you. And I was also getting sacral chakra, so just like willpower, a strong sense of like, this is what I feel passionately called to do. This feels right. You're learning how to find this flow with creation and alignment with your purpose. So we're flowing with creation and we're finding alignment with our purpose this year. And you're sharing your gifts. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Yes, I said all these things. Okay. Let's go ahead and pull some cards to look at your part 1 through 4 of 2026. So let's go look at part 1. That wanted to come out. Okay, we get 10 of Swords. It says here, escape or ruin. That sounds exciting. Let's go ahead and look at your part 2. We have the Sun and the Ace of Pentacles. Nice. That's a huge improvement from part 1, huh? Let's go ahead and look into part 3. We have here King of Wands. Dang. Who are you people? And then let's go ahead and look at part 4. We have here 2 of Cups. Cool. Okay. All right, so starting out with your 2026, it looks like you're escaping something. So 10 of Swords is about endings, things coming to an end. It looks like, yeah, maybe psychologically there's some conflict showing up during this part of the year that you're having to move through. But I'm seeing the strong X, so to me that's a symbol of what not to do. There might be some sort of temptation showing up around the beginning of the year where you're like, okay, let me just do it the way I usually do it. And they're like, no, don't do that. You got to go a different route, because 10 of Swords is like ending. That means that the way that you approached it before will not work. And it looks like maybe it's a lot of mental energy that's not working. Maybe you usually get in your head a lot and you're like, well, let me try to do it this way. And in my head, this is what makes sense. And I think Source just wants you to let go of logic. They want you to let go of this fixation of like what logically makes sense. Let go of that and lean into what feels right for you. So whatever is not making logical sense in part 1, do some journaling, do some self-reflection, learn how to get past that fixation of what you were attached to. So part 1 might be just a letting go of, okay, this really didn't work and it doesn't need to work, and I'm ready to move forward with something else. And it looks like you definitely find your footing here in part 2, because we got Ace of Pentacles and we have the Sun card here. So maybe that 10 of Swords is representation of some sort of career goals or financial goals or resource goals that were not working. And then in part 2, you kind of find more of your footing and you find your more of your creative, authentic pathway that makes more sense to you. So by part 2, you've kind of found it. You found the flavor, you found the approach. And the Soul Dole also kind of reminds me of that Ace of Pentacles with a yoke. It was giving me that reference to the Ace of Pentacles. We have another disc here with the Sun card. So yellow discs are very good signs for joy, for optimism, for the sunlight coming out, for brightness coming into your life. So be open to that light coming into your life to show you the way so that you can find your true, authentic, creative direction. And that's what you're going to be finding in part 2. Resources are going to be flowing and you're going to see more doors and opportunities opening for you. By the time part 3 comes in, King of Wands, you're feeling pretty dang confident in yourself because you are realizing that perhaps the risk you took was worth taking. So we have here Maverick. We have here Selfish. Was this a group? Wasn't this the one was it someone else I was talking to about doing what's selfish? What's right? Okay, yeah. I think that was a different group. But there's this theme coming through in 2026 where we're thinking to ourselves, maybe this is too selfish. And maybe you had to do that thing. It's just that society programmed you to think that you were being selfish when really you were just being aligned and you were just being honest with what felt right to you. So by the time that part 3 kicks in, you're feeling a lot more confident because you realize the things actually worked out. You're seeing it fructify. You are this magnetic light energy. You're feeling really good. You're feeling yourself here in part 3. You know, if you've ever heard Beyonce's song, feeling myself, feeling myself, feeling myself. That's what you're going to be feeling in part 3 of 2026. And this is a masculine energy coming through. Considering it's the year of the fire horse, I think it's quite fitting. But I think it's interesting that we have a masculine energy coming through because the masculine energy is the energy that penetrates, right? It's the energy that takes the initiative. So I think in part 3, you're going to be like, okay, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. Now, I know a lot of people have a lot of criticism towards Kim Kardashian. She has some Leo in her chart. I looked at her chart once. She has some Leo in her chart. But Kim, why she manifests and why she's able to get what she wants, even though people always criticize her, is because she goes after it. You know, she's just like, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do, and she just goes and does it. You know, and now she's kind of on this like unstoppable track where she's like, I can do anything I set my mind to. Now, as far as workaholism goes, there's issues there, but whatever she sets her mind to, she feels like she can accomplish it. And that's what you're going to be feeling here in your part 3. By the time that part 4 rolls around, we got here this energy of the 2 of Cups. So this is giving us the energy of communion and union. Here we're feeling connected. This energy feels very magnetic. It feels like you're attracting people, experiences, and opportunities to you because you're emanating this powerful energy and you're actually finding more alignment with people who match your energy. 2 of Cups is also about finding that inner union. Looks like you took that time with that Moon Venus energy coming through to really take into consideration what it is that you want to do, what you want to experience, what you want to feel. So you're feeling a lot more emotionally balanced with your masculine and feminine energy. I'm seeing an integration of masculine energy coming through for 2026. And then it looks like you find that balance with that 2 of Cups. But you're going into it instinctually, intuitively, just kind of having a sense for, oh, this is what I feel called to create. And so that intuition comes in here. And then that 2 of Cups shows up here. And this 2 of Cups is like, I find that like, wow, everything just kind of comes together here. Okay. just making sure that's clear. All right, really exciting for how your 4 parts of 2026 are looking. Let's go ahead and pull some embodiment cards to see what energy you are being called to embody. Okay. Ooh, that kind of looks like the psychological energy showing up. This looks like someone who was kind of tired. It looks like they're resting. Really interesting. Yeah, I'm seeing some shadow work here. And then I'm also seeing flow. And then I'm seeing some, it almost looks like we're looking into this person's mind, into their body. So there's some transparency, authenticity perhaps we're having to look into what's creating certain experiences. I'm seeing fish. So there's a lot of flowy energy. Very nice. Okay. Let's go ahead and flip this over. So you guys got, looks like it says Themis or Themis. Hopefully Themis. That makes more sense. Themis is one of the oldest and most revered of the Greek goddesses. The daughter of Gaia, the earth goddess. Themis is the mother of the 3 fates who determine the destiny of all mortals and gods. Shown here as the giver of dreams. She once was consulted at Delphi as the bestower of oracles. Themis is prophecy incarnate. Her nature, Themis is prophecy incarnate. Her oracles derive from her sense of order and connection to nature. In later Greek mythology, transferred to Mount Olympus, she personified the social order of law and custom. A reminder that social order is ultimately dependent on the natural order of the earth. Themis is a grounded earthy goddess who is also comfortable moving through and shifting. Moving through the shifting mantic world of dreams. She's deep wisdom, familiar with both the depths of earth and the heights of the sky. A guide into soul. That's crazy channeling, right? I don't know. It actually does blow me away each time. I just got comfortable with it blowing me away. Yeah, there's so much things in here. So the earthy energy is definitely what I was picking up for this year. That's why we got the earth terrain in the background for the oracle card designs. And Rohini is that earthy energy. Rohini is also known as the reddish one. It might be, but I might be wrong with that. But Rohini is this energy of abundance, prosperity, and the way that we tune into true divine abundance is we tune into the earth, Mother Earth here. And Themis here, who's the daughter of Gaia, the earth goddess, she's the mother of the 3 fates who determine the destiny of all mortals. So she mothered those people. Cool. She's the giver of dreams. She's once consulted, wow, giver of dreams, bestower of oracles, prophecy incarnate. So you're going to be feeling intuitive in terms of having a sense for knowing what feels like the right direction. By the way, this oracle deck is called the Goddess's Knowledge Cards. So this is by Michael Babcock, the artist. She painted this, she did this work and this oracle card design after she realized she had cancer. And then I think she did her chemo. But her name is Susan Sedon Bolette. Her name. Yeah, I found this at a fair and I was like, oh my gosh, these paintings are absolutely beautiful. I had to have them. Okay, so deep wisdom, familiar with both the depths of earth and the heights of the sky, a guide into the soul. Whoa, what is this? What does Themis not do is what I want to know. So giver of dreams. So this is going to be the year for you to understand how to bring your dreams alive. This is going to be the year for you to bring your dreams alive, to also understand what are like the fantasy, delusional dreams, the difference between that and the true dreams that Source has been offering to you. For sure. And what we were seeing with that King of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, that was also showing us dreams coming alive. That is what an Ace of Pentacles is. It's like a birth of your dreams coming into manifestation and manifested form. You're going to start to see that. You're going to start to know how to create it. You're going to know how to create it. You're going to see opportunities and doors open for you. And that doesn't have to happen through another person. You could be the one who's just opening the door for yourself. And you're just like, okay, I know what to do for myself. I'm going to lead myself. This is going to be a year for you to embrace that inner leader within you. Because it sounds like Themis here is somewhat of a leader having this influence over life. So she kind of gives me this energy of Aditi, which is Jupiter's in Purnavastu. Because Aditi in Hindu culture is the sky goddess, also known as the cosmic mother, who also birthed gods. She birthed gods, not goddesses, unfortunately. She birthed 33 boys, or males, gods, to be exact. So you're tuning into deep wisdom. Deep earth wisdom is what I'm hearing. Okay, let's go ahead and pull a card here to see what else you're being called to embody for 2026. Okay, I'm going to pull these out. We have here the Sustainer that feels very earthy, and we have Agape. Okay, I'm going to have to pull the book out because I forgot what Agape was. Agape is the highest form of love, so unconditional love, devotion. So this year is going to give you the opportunity. I love these blues, by the way, coming through, for you to understand the highest form of love. So we are love. You know, everything else is just performative stuff, but you are love. And this year you're going to be understanding and learning how much you are loved, how much you are supported in this divine universe that we live in and exist in. And you're being asked to embody this divine love, this unconditional love, this highest form of love, in alignment with sustaining here. So what you're sustaining is what you are. Very earthy energy. Sustenance. What is the sustenance of life? It's you. So you're going to be embodying the sustenance of life. Stability. You're going to be embodying stability. Okay, let me go ahead and pull a card from here. Oh my gosh, I love that. Child nature. Very earthy. Friendships with animals. Communication with nature spirits. Shadow attribute. Tendency to abuse animals, people, and the environment. Yes, so this year is going to be a beautiful year for you to connect with the earth. And I kept getting that for the forecast for this year. And at first I was looking at like jungle stuff, and I just couldn't vibe with some of the jungle stuff. I created like a greenery, I created wood, and then I just landed on land. Like that feels like the earth, right? So we're getting this earthy energy for you. You are being called to embody being the divine child of nature. You are of nature. This is what created you. You're going to see that. You're going to see how Mother Earth is so supporting you this year. And you're going to see that you are her child. She created you, your form. And so your form is perfectly designed and made for this world. I wish we would just get away from this rhetoric about, this obsession about poisons and all this other stuff. I'm like, if anything, Mother Earth knows how to purify herself. She's the queen. She knows how to purify. We live on her land. So yeah, we may not always treat her well, but Mother Earth does not care about that. She is sustenance itself. And so she's here to sustain the earth. She's here to purify the earth. And I don't believe in this idea that people are like, oh, Mother Earth will get rid of us if she has to. I don't actually think that's how it's designed. I think this is a co-created partnership. I think Mother Earth gives us some and we got to give her some. But Mother Earth don't play around. I feel like she could easily abolish us at any point in time. But that's not the part of the plan. Part of the plan is for us to live in alignment with the earth that created us, created our carbon form, our bodies to live in and exist in. So this year you're going to be feeling that connection to your body, feeling that connection to nature, feeling this connection to creativity, and this is going to help you to embody that beautiful goddess-like energy. Let's go ahead and roll the Astro Dice for confirmation and affirmation for your 2026. got K2 Cancer in the 6th house. So there's a releasing, there's a letting go, a purification of the sorts that's happening. And it's happening around a sense of maybe your emotions, sense of safety, security. We have the moon reference, and then we have your Cancer. So there's a purification process happening when it comes to your emotion. Perhaps we're also picking up with the 10 of Swords is like a really nice purification purge that you're experiencing. And this is going to align you so much more with what you feel called to do. But this is very intuitive energy. You know, K2 is intuitive. It's that spiritual essence. It's that energy when we lean into, we fall back into. It's like a trust fall. We fall into it and it takes care of us. So this year, you're going to be learning how when you just kind of trust the universe, you could trust Mother Earth with that Virgo, 6th house energy showing up. Your resources are taken care of without force, without pressure, without trying to control it. The people who try to control Mother Earth's resources are the ones who are destroying themselves. They're hurting the world too, but they're mainly destroying themselves through their approach, because most of those people are like workaholics and they're creating an excess of things. It's very unbalanced, not really healthy. But this year, you're going to be very much tuning into your health, tuning in your sense of knowing what feels right, how you take care of yourself, and how you can take care of Mother Earth. You're going to be called to create things that feel more organic, more natural, more flowy with life as opposed to resisting it here. And you're going to be using your hands to knead that dough. You're going to be using your physical form and body to create and be a part of this experience, which is so beautiful. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. Group number 3, like, subscribe to support, or comment down below. And I will see you guys next time for another pick a card reading. Bye.